Hello, welcome to this tropical update for the Atlantic and the Eastern Pacific. So let's see what's happening. There's major Hurricane Kirk there, and it's so big. It's like a category 4 now, and that structure is just incredible. It's almost category 5, but the official forecast only keeps it at a category 4. But it's nearly a category 5. Look at that eye. It's a gigantic storm. So that's one thing. There's lastly another thing, and it's such a low latitude, but you gradually go north there. So you can see Leslie will become a hurricane and it heads north into the Atlantic, and Kirk the same. Is major hurricane, it'll curve north and subtropical, extratropical storm into Europe. And let's see, now there's this new area that they just added 20%. So tropical wave expected to move westward from the coast of Africa Monday or Tuesday. Some development assistance possible thereafter moves westward and west-northwest across the eastern tropical Atlantic. So another thing might try to form there. And there's this guy again. It's now at 50% chance again in the Gulf. So let's see, a trough of low pressure in the western Gulf of Mexico is producing widespread shower and thunderstorm activity. A broad area of low pressure is expected to develop from the system over the southwestern central Gulf of Mexico during the next day or so. An additional subsequent development is possible while the low moves slowly eastward and northeastward. The tropical or subtropical depressions or storm could form during the early middle part of next week, and if the low remains separate from a frontal boundary that is forecast to extend across the Gulf of Mexico next week. Regardless of development, locally heavy rains could occur in parts of Mexico during the next few days and parts of Florida Peninsula late this week and into next week. So that's the main thing. So please be aware. Let's see, the Central Pacific, there's just a tiny system going nowhere. And on the Eastern Pacific, there's this tiny system, 10%. And there's this guy at 40% already near the coast of Mexico. So this might become something there. An low pressure could form on the coast southwestern Mexico during the early to middle part of next week, especially like early part of next week. Environmental conditions appear conducive for additional development of the system, and a tropical depression could form during the middle part of next week, where the system drifts slowly northwestward, 4% chance. So be aware Mexico for heavy rainfall. And yeah, so Kirk, I showed you that, and it's now category 4. None of the models show category 5. This will likely just be category 4, but the structure is so impressive, and the models generally take this one or two goes west, but mainly they go towards Europe. So as you can see here, they curve towards Europe, like France, the UK, and some areas. And this model is really crazy. Like goes towards Europe, gets caught like the jet or something, rides all the way to Asia, to Europe again. The remnants of this far out in time. This is crazy. But let's see. So there's the models here, and the GFS shows Kirk there. It goes very strong there in the Atlantic, might bring some rain wind to the Azores, and goes towards Europe as a 968. That's a powerful low pressure system, still like an extra tropical storm. This would be like a tropical storm, but not tropical because it's very cold there. So this might have some bigger impacts there, and it shows that there's Kirk and there's Leslie just slowly moving there, and they might eventually get caught up going through Europe as well. And there's the next system. The GFS doesn't have anything on the next system there, but other models do. There's the Gulf system. The GFS shows a tropical storm there getting going, maybe a hurricane. So the GFS now has a tropical storm here in western Florida. This will be a very problematic situation, but we'll keep an eye on it. And later on, the GFS has something forming into Belize there, and maybe into the Gulf. But that's far out, and I don't believe that. So let's see. There's the European. It shows Kirk there. It goes. There's Leslie. So Kirk goes, might leave some rain and wind in the Azores. Then it has going further south into Europe, like Spain and Portugal and France, but some big impacts as well. And it has another system going like into Europe later. So keep watching that. There's Leslie. It just goes north to the Atlantic, and the hurricane and the European model forms this new system off of Africa, crosses the Cabo Verde area at tropical depression strength, and then strengthens more into the Atlantic. So that's interesting. And in the Gulf, just gets some moisture there, and the European also forms a tropical storm, kind of disorganized, but also forms a tropical storm into Florida, and boom, it goes away. So gotta watch that Gulf system very close, because these ones are just hanging out in the open ocean, and that one might impact more people, so better watch that one closely. And of course, be mindful in Europe when these systems get extra tropical. So let's see, there's the icon, shows Kirk there, and lastly is like slow moving. And then there's Kirk, the icon has like into France, the UK, and some in Spain, but mainly into France, like a powerful low pressure, and it has Leslie like just dying there. And the icon forms the other system as well into the Cabo Verde. So if you are there in the Cabo Verde and this actually forms, this might bring some impacts there. Bear watch. And the icon is really nuts with the stuff in Florida. It goes like tropical storm strength towards like central Florida too, just like the GFS. And it goes out and turns into a hurricane further out to the Atlantic and dies in those fronts. So the icon is picking up something. And there's the Eastern Pacific thing, might curve near Mexico, bring some heavy rains. So if I was in Florida, I would really watch this extra closely. There's the NavGen, it has not uploaded yet, so the 60. So there's Kirk, it goes, and the NavGen's like into Spain, France, and the UK, and a very strong system as well. And it has Leslie there, it goes as well. There's Kirk, I think, yeah, and there's Leslie. So it goes very slowly and tries to approach the Caribbean. So that's Leslie, Kirk, yeah. Kirk goes, and there's Leslie. It goes closer to the Caribbean, but this model is kind of an outlier. Most shows it going out into the Atlantic. And the NavGen is also nuts there. It shows like 988 tropical storm into central Florida. So many models are showing like the Tampa Bay area or like further north, Bradenton or something. So really gotta watch this in central Florida. Many models are showing something. And another storm after Helene, oh my gosh, this will bring some impacts to the people still recovering. Central Florida didn't get a direct hit, but still had some impacts. So let's see. There's the Canadian, shows Kirk there. And lastly, so let's see, Kirk goes, passes the Azores, some rain, and then goes a little bit weaker, but still into France, Spain, and the UK, and other parts of Europe. There's Leslie, it goes and gets caught in those fronts, and the Canadian also forms the other one, but south of the Cabo Verde, forms a little bit further south there, and goes into the Atlantic. And on the Gulf, it has a tropical storm forming too, but this is too quick, I think. Like by October 7th, it already has a tropical storm. I think this is too quick, but you never know. Then it passes the Yucatan, and it goes like into central Florida as well. So almost all the models I've seen today are trying to do something there. So better watch closely. There's the European AI model. It like also forms a storm into Florida there. And there's another AI model, I think this is the European one. It shows something forming up there, and maybe tropical storm strength, but not very strong with the winds. As you can see, the system in Europe with way higher winds there, the 10-meter winds than that one, but there still might be impact of tropical storm. So yeah, and even has some other low pressures forming up later. So let's see the Canadian ensembles, and then we'll check the European GFS ones in another spot. So the Canadian has Kirk and Leslie there. It goes into the Atlantic, and let's see. So it keeps going there. There's Leslie, and there's the next one near the Cabo Verde. And yeah, And there's the Gulf, it has some showing there, nothing huge, but some show like tropical depression, tropical storm strength near western Florida, so better watch there. And then there's the European ensembles. Let's just put the full run. It shows the systems there in the Cabo Verde and Kirk and Leslie into the Atlantic, and it has a lot of support for the thing in the Gulf as well. A member or two goes like towards the northern Gulf, but that's just two members. That likely won't happen. Many affect the northern Yucatan, but most pass through like central Florida there. So right in central western Florida. So better be prepared in those areas or watching, because this formation still could change. It's still at a 50% chance to form. So the model still could give up, but better just keep watching. And there's the GFS, it has a lot of support too, similar to the European. There's Central Florida in some areas, so better watch. You have some outliers in the Caribbean and Kirk and Leslie and the next one there, so be aware. In the next 36 hours, it has the GFS, more rainfall near Hispaniola, Cuba, more southern Florida, more rain, like there in the Yucatan, more heavier Mexico, and some showers in the Caribbean there. And next 102 hours, so until like the 8th, it has that crossing Florida, more than like 3 to 4 inches there, so like some 3 to 4 inches in some areas, and it has more across like Guatemala, more close to 3 inches, 2-3 inches, and Mexico close to 5 inches there, 4 inches or something. So please be careful. In Mexico, we'll show you millimeters in a second. Shows some more tropical showers in like Venezuela, Trinidad and Tobago, and the Caribbean. Might be a thunderstorm or two in the next 5 days. And here, so let's just put 120 hours. It also shows the northern Bahamas close to like 3 inches, and it has this cross in Florida, more than 7 inches in total as this crosses Florida. So really gotta watch there. Has heavy in Central America, some more showers and storms in Panama, Costa Rica, and many areas. So the European model has here. So until October 9th, it has more southern Florida, south central Florida, northern Bahamas, close to 5 inches or more, southwestern Florida, probably like 9-8 inches, and it has a lot in Mexico, and more showers and storms passing from time to time in the Caribbean, heavier in South America, and more in Central America. So be aware. Those areas like in millimeters, I'll show you later, but it has some 9 inches in Florida, and here, where is it? Here, millimeters, it shows in Central America, close to like 118 millimeters, a part or two of Mexico, 95 millimeters, less in Honduras, Nicaragua, but still some showers, Costa Rica, Panama, some showers and storms, Jamaica, some showers, a storm or two, in Cuba, some more storms, Dominican Republic, storms, and some showers in the Caribbean, maybe a thunderstorm or two. Heavier still in western Mexico, that system passing by. Still might be some flooding in a spot or two, so be careful in Mexico. And yeah, the GFS has further north central Florida, a lot there, and it has some more in the Bahamas, 69 millimeters. Cuba, more storms, Hispaniola, Jamaica no, yeah, some showers there. Guatemala, Honduras, it has heavier. Mexico, close to 92 millimeters, so we really be careful. It has like some 176 millimeters in Mexico, western Mexico there, so be careful still in Mexico. And yeah, and the European has this thing crossing the Cabo Verde, so it has more than 99 millimeters in the Cabo Verde. So if this does cross, there will be some gusty winds and heavy rain in the Cabo Verde, so please be monitoring that. And has some more showers and storms northern South America and Trinidad and Tobago, so be careful. There's the icons like Central Florida as well, just north of Tampa, a lot there too. It has like a lot near the Keys. There will be like some 5 inches, 4 inches, some 158 millimeters. Some more showers elsewhere, some storms near the Caribbean, and Guatemala, some heavy rain, Mexico, so still be careful there. There's the tropical storm probabilities, there's Kirk and Leslie, and they go out to the Atlantic. Some probabilities 50% for that new system there. And the Gulf has some 10 to 20% by October 8th, has 30 to 40% by the 9th, has 40 to 50% tropical storm probabilities on the 10th, and even 50 to 60% tropical storm probabilities right as it approaches Florida. So those are some high tropical storm probabilities. Now tropical depression probabilities. There's Kirk, Leslie, and the next guy coming off of Africa. So the area has 90% tropical depression probabilities near the Cabo Verde. So gotta watch. And the area has like 100% in the southwestern Gulf as this forms, but we still don't know if it will form. But it has some very high tropical depression probabilities right there, and on the Eastern Pacific. So be careful those areas. And just for curiosity, let's see some hurricane probabilities. There's Kirk, and lastly the hurricane probabilities there. So let's see, Kirk keeps going, and lastly there, and the next system just a 5% small probability. But in the Gulf, still nothing. But there's like 5% hurricane probability there near Florida by like October 10th. So that's very low. It probably won't be a hurricane, but just gotta watch. So stay safe in those areas. Uh, watch the systems very closely, and let me just see if I find another model here for Florida. So here, like precipitation, so total precipitation here. Next, like 177 hours, because I want to select different models. So for example, the UK model until the 10th, this might not have crossed yet, but it already shows like a lot there, close to 4 inches, some like 5 inches there in the western central Florida. So please be aware. There's the Canadian, didn't show you before as well. So by October 10th, it doesn't have much still, but next 222 hours until like until like the 13th or something, it has more than like 5 inches, 6 inches there in southwestern Florida. But yeah, and it has like some more building in the Gulf. But just gotta watch there and share this information and warn others. Bye.